Rockin' Larry Locken, Pleiadian Express Productions, Pleiadian Late Night Talk. Hey, I wanted to introduce, before we get started here, my co-host, 9 miles up the coast from me in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, or one of the suburbs about there, Raquel Toombs. Raquel, before I ask you how you're doing, I want to give a couple plugs. I want to plug this channel, Pleiadian Express Productions, Pleiadian Light Grid Project, the What's Your Opinion show, and the Opinion That Facts channel with my homeboy Kenny. We do shows on social issues there that we stay away from kind of on here because we like to keep the two separate, be of earth, be in earth, but of the earth, but not from the earth, I guess, if that makes any sense. Raquel, how are you doing tonight, hon? How's the weather and how's everything going in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia?
It's been the weather. It's been, oh, it was hot. I think it was like 29 today.
Hold on. 29. When you say 29 degrees to anybody in the United States, that's going to sound like it was a fucking snowfall. That's Celsius. So I want people to understand that you're going to have to go to them. If you're from America, because we're too lazy to convert to the metric system like everybody else, 29 degrees up there is warm, okay? Only thing I know about it is 32 degrees for us is 0 for you guys. So
it was hot. It was really hot today. Yeah.
Yeah, so go on with the hotness.
Well, yeah, it was really hot today. We went up to the mountain. That was really nice. But I've been having, like today, I've just been burning. And it's not because of the heat. It didn't come on until later in the day. Earlier in the day, I was out sun gazing. And I looked down and my whole body was just like ultraviolet, like brighter than I've ever seen. And it was just like shooting from me. And it was just like, whoa, it was so amazing to see. And then we went out for a ride and went to the mountain. And oh, it was so beautiful in amongst the trees. It just felt so good. And then we came back here. And we were here for a while, and then all of a sudden, I just got like, it kind of started in my brain, like it's just this burning, and then my whole body felt that, and it's still feeling like that a bit, but it's kind of settling a little bit. Just feels like it's on fire from the inside. And I think, well, I feel like in my experience, those are just kind of upgrades, and that's how the energy can affect people at certain times, especially when there's when it's so strong. I know I go through periods of purification where the energies will be really strong. A big wave will come in, and normally, like the things I normally eat, I can't eat during that time. So my body will just tell me, you know, like watermelon, cucumber, sweet potatoes, veggies, which I usually eat anyway. But in order to purify, I have to listen to that internal guidance and listen to my body and eat very light, healthy, live foods. If I go against it and say, okay, well, you know, I'm going to eat, you know, a piece of pizza or whatever, I end up just, suffering because of it. So that's part of what these energies do, and how they purify you is on every level. They purify you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. It's burning away. It's burning away everything old, right? Like the old. So it's not always comfortable, and doesn't have anything. Like I made a post about it today, and someone said, "Oh, menopause." I thought it was menopause. Okay, you know what? This is happening to men too. This is happening to women that are very young. So it's not. And I understand people that are not experiencing these upgrades, these physical upgrades, the awakening of the DNA. People that do not understand, maybe they're experiencing it maybe in a milder way, or they don't understand, so they'll feel something, and they're still in that mindset where they're not understanding, and so they're getting concerned about it and thinking that there's something wrong with them. Me, it's like, you know, since the beginning, my process has been really harsh and really extreme. And since the beginning of my process, I learned very early on to just listen. I knew there was nothing wrong with me. I knew that whatever was happening to me, just allow, just be in a state of allowing, and just listen to the guidance. So listen to the wisdom of my body and the guidance of my soul. And that gets me through and has gotten me through. So in the past 4 years, excuse me, I've lost over 100 pounds. I have healed from asthma, chronic bronchitis, sinusitis, Hep C, chronic or acid reflux, like just a myriad of different physical ailments, as well as mental ailments. I was diagnosed borderline personality disorder. Excuse me. So all these ailments, so-called diseases or labels that I was given, they've all healed. This process has healed them. So whatever I'm feeling when these energies come in, sometimes my body contorts, my head goes right back. I can feel it, just the pressure. It almost feels like G forces. And then there'll be a lot of cracking in my head. Now, I've been doing this for over 4 years now. So I just go with it, and I understand that it's nothing wrong. This is the dormant DNA, so-called junk DNA, coming back online, and the new body operating system, because of that DNA coming back online, is very different than the old body operating system. So the breathing abilities, being able to feel and breathe with all your chakras, being able to have more energy, being faster, being stronger, being more flexible. This all comes with it, but there's periods of time where the growth might be very rapid, and where you may feel like all your bones are breaking and you're on fire for maybe a week. Then it levels out, and then then you're feeling it a little bit kind of more mild. Then another wave comes, and you just ride the waves, and you just, like I said, you listen to the internal guidance of your body. That mind-body connection becomes very, very strong, and you honor it, and you do what your body needs, and then you just listen to the guidance of your soul. That's been my process, and I've been healing, and I'm still healing, and I'm still transforming.
Well, that's a great point. And I wanted to echo what you said real quick about how this is not just happening to women in their 40s that are going through menopause or something. This is happening to men and women, teenagers, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, okay, that are men and women. All these things that are going on, all right? This is not just something that you can chalk up to. That's not to say that you shouldn't eliminate every possibility. And if you think you need to go to the doctor, go get checked out. But if you go get checked out for all these things, and like Raquel said, if you're fine as far as the scientific medical part goes, well, then just go with it. And as far as riding these waves, Raquel is so 100% on, because how often do we hear about, okay, well, this energy wave's coming, this energy, we've heard it all 4 years that you and I have been in this awakening. This energy wave, and all you can do is ride them, because they're going to keep coming, and they're going to be different. They're going to be subtle. They're going to be mild. They're going to be big, and they're just going to keep coming. And it's a process that's not going to end tomorrow, next week, in a year, 3 years. I mean, who knows? But it's not something where this one wave, I don't think, is going to dawn and the skies are going to part. It's like you said. I mean, it's just, you learn to ride these waves and listen to your body. And you know what I mean? You really did learn to listen to your body. You weren't asking people for advice about what's going on with my body. You listen to your body. So yes, if you need to get medically checked up, do that. But otherwise, really try to just listen to your body. And Raquel knows what she's talking about. I'm serious. It's, a lot of people might think, oh, this is crazy talk or whatever. But trust me, I've been talking to this girl for over 4 years, and we've had a lot of late night talks. And when she was first going through a lot of her ascension issues, and I was too. And believe me, I mean, this isn't, if this isn't all real that's going on, then it's and I don't believe in coincidences, then it's even crazier, because it's the biggest coincidence that's ever happened in the history of the cosmos. But yeah, I totally agree, Raquel. And you also had you know, you had some crystals that you had next to you that I wanted you to show people and maybe explain a little bit about before we move on to another subject, unless you had something to add to what I said.
No, I don't have anything to add to what you said. Yeah, I have lots of crystal friends. My guides, a lot of my guides are actually crystals. This one, oh my gosh, I love it so much. This is black tourmaline, and it was amazing because I was gazing at it in the sun. You can see the light sheening off that, right?
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah.
And I was gazing at it in the sun, and it just turned like bright silver. And then I could see, like, same way I see my light body, I could see little cells of light of all multicolored in the crystals, exactly the same as in my body. So that was cool. And black tourmaline is excellent for grounding and protection. Although I don't feel like we need protection. I feel that our personal frequency, our vibration is our protection. So we raise our vibrations, and the higher vibrations will repel the lower ones anyway. I'm not one that has ever, even right from the get-go, believed that I needed to protect myself from anything. Yes. And then this one, oh, this is amazing. This is a Lumerian that I recently, it's got a really wicked rainbow in it, but I don't think that you can see it. You can see my dirty fingernails because I was in the garden.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, I see it though. I do. I see it. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, this one's really special. I was at my local metaphysical shop, Emerald Moon in Maple Ridge, where I live.
Check out their page on Facebook, everybody. Emerald Moon.
Emerald Moon. Yeah. Oh my God, Chris and Helen, they're just the most amazing people. They're a lovely family, and I just love going in there. Like I'll go in there and I could talk to him about all this stuff, like about this mutation, this transforming. I go in there and I'll flex my muscles, and I think he kind of thinks, woohoo. But he's really, like, yeah, they both are really lovely people, and their prices are great. This is golden rutile quartz. This is a really lovely piece too.
I have one like it, but it's broken on it. It's broken towards the bottom. That one looks perfectly shaped.
Oh. Isn't it your birthday coming up soon?
Yeah, it is. And by the way, you know those chakras you sent me? The chakras?
The Merkabahs.
Yeah, the Merkabahs. Damn it, I lost one of them, and I don't know how, because I've had them up in my curio cabinet ever since you sent them to me.
Well, send me your address again. I'll send you a package for your birthday.
Oh, and thanks. It's coming August 1st, by the way, everybody. I'm a Leo.
Okay. Yeah, Jevin's a Leo too.
I figured so. I figured he was.
Yeah. Cool like that. So those are two. Oh, and then this one is Super 7. So it's got 7 different minerals in it. I know it's like amethyst, amethyst, hematite. I don't remember the exact, like, I don't remember what they all are, but it's really, it's the seer's stone. It's very powerful, and it's really beautiful.
Looks like a hybrid crystal.
It's got 7 crystals in one, 7 stones in one. Hold on. And then I'll grab my,
Yeah, and while Raquel's doing that, I wanted to say I can't stress the importance of crystals. I mean, we can get into that after she's shown her crystals, but crystals are so powerful, and in our history, they have been so powerful.
Well, they all contain information. I mean, look at, watches and computers and stuff. I mean, there's crystals. They hold information, retain information. Not only that, but they're living beings. So this one is a smoky quartz. No, I want to say point, but it's bigger than a point. Anyway, yeah, this one's really amazing. And I just decided to sleep with it. So I was going to sleep, and I had my hands like this on the top of it. And then all of a sudden, I could feel like my hand felt like it merged with the crystal. And then I could feel what felt like a heartbeat at first. It was just like a bump, 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 bump in my hand. And then I could feel the waves of energy coming through it, going right through my body. So that was amazing. And it's really cool as we go further along in this process, we're able to feel not only our own energies and move our own energies around and play around with our own energies, but we're able to feel the energies of others more, animals, trees. That's why the forest was so much more magical today, because I hadn't been up to the mountain. Well, I hadn't been to the mountain for quite a while. But so we go through these waves come through, we go through these stages. Not only do they upgrade us physically, but the physical upgrades actually lead to a more heightened senses. I know for me, it's wonderful because I get visual confirmation after a big, after I go through a big shift, like a big physical upgrade and a physical shift where I have to work through it. I'm down on my mat for like the past few days. I've been on my mat probably a total of about 8 hours a day. Not consecutive, but so sometimes these waves are so intense, strong, because we have the eclipse energies too, and then we got the Sirius, and then we've got the Lion's Gate coming up too. So these are like super intense, and it will take you to a new level. So although these physical upgrades and shifts can be uncomfortable, afterwards you're just up higher than you've ever been. Once you get through them, you're up higher. And then each time I go through on my visual, what I see with my eyes, what I see goes to the next level. Like as far as the colors and the patterns, seeing cells of light, seeing atoms, molecules, like, I mean, seeing from, God's eye, from that source kind of perspective through the human eyes. That is so amazing and so exciting. It's truly incredible. But yeah, so we have a stronger connection. The more our vibrations are raised, the more further along we go, we're able to, like, crystals will speak to us. There's certain ones, I'll go out and I'll see one in a store or whatever, and the way it'll speak to me is it'll just start shooting light, like sparkling or shooting light, and it's talking to me. And so quite often it's like when that happens, I have to get it. And there's been many times where I brought it home and then I've connected with someone, or all of a sudden someone would enter my consciousness, and that crystal would be telling me this is where it has to go. And so I've had friends on Facebook that I hadn't talked to before, just maybe, interacted with their posts or whatever, but not actually talked to. And I've known that crystal needed to go to that person. So I'd have to message them and say, I'd like to send you a crystal. And most people are good with that. But some people might think, oh, okay, that's weird, right? I've never even talked to her. So it's like, well, no, but it's not really me that, it's the crystal told me it wants to,
Right.
Yeah. So that's always fun.
I was going to say most people that we talk to would like it and be appreciative of it. If you whipped out the phone book and started just randomly calling people, they'd probably think you were a little odd. But
yeah,
the crystal, what do you think about, like, when the noonday ray hits through a quartz, or hits through even maybe a Lemurian crystal, and you totally see rainbow colors? And here's one thing I would like you to try to explain. If not, I will. People are going to ask this question: well, how can a crystal be a living being? How can it, and then how would you try to articulate that the best you could? That's a tough one to articulate, I think.
Well, it makes sense to me, and I know that I know that they are. The way that I can explain it is that, like, the native tribes and stuff would speak of the rock people, They're talking about crystals.
And crystal beans have been talked about too by
yes,
some tribes too. So yes.
And then if you want to look at the scientific point, like crystals are not a solid or a liquid. They're pure vibration. They're pure vibration. I mean, science hasn't confirmed yet that they're living beings, but if you're pure vibration, like you know, that's alive. That's an energy that's alive. I don't really know how to explain it. I think you just kind of get to a point where you realize these things. And I've had like, you know, like before my landing here, before my agreement to come here, in my old life, who I was, I never would have dreamt any of this shit. Like, I mean, I have seen shit. Like, I mean, I've experienced, I mean, you know, the most amazing things that I never even would have dreamed of, like things that were outside of my belief system. I wouldn't even go there. So as far as fairies and crystal beings and plants talking to you and trees talking to you, my battery is running low, so I have to go get the thing to plug it in. I mean, you kind of got to experience it to truly know, right?
Yeah, no, that's the way I would answer it, is that it's something that you've got to really know or feel. The only other thing I could possibly add on to what you said is that, okay, people say, well, how are they living beings? Well, because at that ascended of a level, you can live off of you can live off of sunlight. You can live off of the air. They don't require food. They don't require, you know, that they just are in existence. They don't require anything but natural sun nutrition and things like that. You don't have to go down to the store and get your crystals and crystal food like you would, you know, like you would for Ariel, get her some dog food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're ascended to that level. That's the only other way that I would look at it. And one thing I did want to add before you go back into what you were saying is that, and I believe this too about Atlantis and Lemuria, and I believe that if we had 8 to 10 150-foot crystal towers spread around the earth, it would power every single home 24/7 in the world, on the planet. But see, you know, again, corporate control, you know, there goes power company money. But that's how powerful crystals are. And I really believe it. And it's not something I can prove. I can give innuendos and talk about things I've heard and said, but you just got to get to a point where you feel that way. And it's one of them things where it's one of them, because I'm a very logical sound person, but well, I try to be, but there's those known knowns. I know that I couldn't explain it to you. You got to just figure it out. And I don't really want to mess either with somebody's growth path who might be halfway curious into it and then, you know, not look into it for the right reasons. I don't know. So, but anyway, yeah. You know, crystal.
Well, you know, who was this? I don't know if it was Einstein quote. But basically it's kind of like you just all of a sudden get to a different place. You get to another level and you can't explain how you got there. You can't tell anyone else how to get there. You can't write a book instructing people on how to get there. You just get there, you know? So you could just be kind of on one level with a certain amount of, experience or whatever. And you can, like with my experience in the beginning, going from the life I lived to like having my walk-in experience. So that was almost like overnight. And I was a completely different person. Now, I can't really explain that to anybody. I can't tell them how I did it. It just happened. And now, you know, I'm here. So you're just like jumping, doing like this quantum jumps, right? You can't really explain it. You gotta experience it, I guess.
Well, yeah, you put in a lot of the hard work too, but a lot of this came like overnight for you, as far as a lot of the shit you gave up that you were doing that was bad in your life, and, you know, things that weren't working out for you. Somehow it just, yeah, it almost is like a walk-in. And we've heard that term thrown around. I've said this before on the show. I've never really talked to anybody that I consider to be a walk-in except Raquel, even though she may not like to use that word. Raquel is the closest thing that I've ever talked to that what I would consider a walk in that term in the starseed community. I've talked about it a million times on shows and with other people on their shows, but Raquel is the only one that I would consider that I would even contemplate that could be the case with, because really, the proof is in the pudding. If you wanted to go there or label it a walk-in, or maybe you just had it was really wonderful for you though, because you were able to, within a year period or right away, I mean, you were able to just, fuck, man, your life turned around in so many ways. And it must have been
I had a very abrupt death, life review, and a very quick rebirth. And then it was, I just say walk-in experience, because it was an experience that the old me died and a new emerged very quickly. So all the karma, all the pain, all the sickness, all that stuff was lifted from me, because that was the old me that was holding on to that. All that was just gone. And then I started new. It was like being a baby. Like, I mean, it took me a really long time to even be able to go out into public. I didn't know what to eat. I didn't even know what to eat. Like, and I didn't know, what do people do down here? I don't get, like, I had to go and hang out at Janice. God, thank God for Janice. She didn't know what was happening to me. She thought I was having a total psychotic break. But, I would go down to her house and just kind of say, can I just come lie on your couch while you babysit? And so she'd be doing her work at home and babysitting her niece. And it was like, just so I could figure out what do people do down here, because I didn't even know. So yeah, it was pretty harsh, and it was very intense. It was very intense, but it was, looking back on it, I mean, it's amazing. It's really amazing, because I didn't think that, I couldn't dream that anything like that would have even happened to me.
I know. I wish I would have had some audio recordings of some of the first calls you and I ever had on the phone when you were going through some of this shit.
Oh gosh.
No, you're probably like, fuck that.
Oh, it was very intense. It was very intense. And
have you eaten meat? Hey, when this happened, like, I know you don't eat meat now, but did you eat meat a little bit still? Because I haven't eaten meat even since way before my awakening. I never liked the shit to begin with, and now I don't eat it because of both for spiritual reasons and I don't like it. But did you still eat a little bit of meat, or were you much of a meat eater at all before?
I was before. I mean, shit, I was 230 pounds. I was eating a lot of meat and other crap.
But I'm a fat ass and I eat a ton of potatoes. So, I mean, but yeah, no, go ahead.
I did eat eggs. And first of all, I remember the first thing I ate was cucumber. It was the first thing I ate, because I hadn't eaten for, like, I went through a purification and a spontaneous fast. I didn't know why I wasn't eating. I didn't understand, but I just didn't eat for 7 days, and I didn't sleep for 10 days. I had deep, like almost like yogic sleep, like really deep, like meditations where I had a lot of visions, and sometimes where I was just resting, but not like a normal sleep. And so I started out just with cucumber, and then I had try like tomato. It's like it was like the first time I'd ever eaten. So it's like I was trying these things for the first time. And then I just kind of listened to what my body wanted. And then I did eat eggs and then chicken for the first probably couple months. Then after that, it was just, I don't know. I don't really have much of a concept of time. It was for a short while. And then after that, it was like no meat, but I'd still have like dairy. So, and now it's just no dairy and no meat. Yeah. But I listen to my body and what it wants, right? And my body just, it doesn't want meat. I can't even, I just, yeah.
That'd be like killing you.
Like, yuck.
Cannibalism. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but this is the way I've always looked at eating meat. Okay. For me, this creature that you're eating, it also has blood, bones, eyes, a soul, a mouth, you're eating another creature. I mean, no judgment, but really, it's not any different from cannibalism. I mean, you may legally and socially and all that shit, but I'm talking about the pure fucking concept of it is you're eating a living, breathing thing with eyes. I could never, on my walks all the time with my dog, we see deer all the time. I could never stand some son of a bitch who took a gun or was to ever shoot a deer in front of
But
me.
Larry,
Unless they were starving. But
Larry, I think that we just reach a place where we understand that interconnectedness, and we connect with our our earth animal families on a soul level. So we very much understand, we very much feel and see and experience their souls. There are a lot of people that don't have that knowledge, that don't have that, because first we experience it in ourselves. First we experience that in ourselves, then we're able to see that outside of ourselves. I know, like with Ariel, like we communicate telepathically. Like she tells me what she needs. And sometimes I look at her and I see the light in her eyes, and like her soul, she's got such a huge soul, but it's no different from like my aunt, my Auntie Barb. Remember, she'd passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
She lived on Trunkiel Farm in Kamloops. This is like a really hot spot for a lot of activity, like a lot of paranormal, whatever. It's a very high energy area. A lot of UFO sightings and stuff too. But she was security. She worked security there. And me and Jevin went to stay with her in the summer, and we were driving from town back to the farm, and we saw a truck ahead of us with cows, and there was a baby cow. There was a calf that was looking through. We could see it. I made eye contact with it, and I said, "Where are those cows going?" And she said, "To the slaughter." And I said, "No, the baby, no. And I remember I started crying. I just, no, please. Like, because I've always been very sensitive anyway, even back then, very connected and sensitive. And so she dropped me off at the farm, and she said, "I'll be back in a while." So she went out, and I just, like, I felt like my heart was just ripping out. It was so terrible for me. And I felt helpless. And she comes back about an hour later, and she had the calf, and we named him Wilson. And he was just like a dog. Like we'd go out there in the field, and he'd run after us, and we'd hug him. And if it started raining or storming, we'd run him into the barn because we didn't want him to get soaking wet. And so excuse me. So I've had the honor of really connecting with horses and cows, rats. I've had companion rats, dogs, cats, birds, Ethan's reptile, bearded dragon, Gertrude. I've had the honor to connect and to spend time and have with these beings, and they're all souls, and they're all, the same to me, and no matter what form they take. So because I've had those connections with them, I understand that. A lot of people, they don't have those connections. They don't see them. Of course we wouldn't eat a dog, but we'd eat a cow. Why? Well, because they don't have the connection with the cow. And also, it's what we've always done, like families have always done. You just eat meat. That's the way it is. Eat your meat, right? And also the fact that, you go to a grocery store, and it's all, people don't even really think. I don't really think about, well, what, it's a disconnect, because they're not seeing the whole picture. They're not seeing the soul and what happens right there. So I just think that, like, I don't judge. I don't judge. I don't like these people that judge others. And, you're vegan. That's great. Good for you. That's a wonderful thing. But you're not better than anyone else. And you know, and you know, with me, there was a time in my life I ate meat. So you know, I'm whatever. If that's what you do, that's what you do. There's no judgment here. But personally, for me, that's just my choice not to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, you know, even before when I was younger and I would eat meat because it's what my parents or grandparents cooked, when I went to the store, like you were saying, I felt like I was the only one thinking about where this stuff came from. The stuff came from a slaughterhouse. And I'd always wondered that. It's funny you brought that up because I'd wonder if these people realize where this stuff comes from. You know, I mean, this is an animal that's been killed, that's got a soul and got eyes, but you know, what can you do? You can't judge other people. And, you know, some people will use the excuse that they need to stay alive and to eat. And under those circumstances, okay, fine, I can understand. But I think you're right. It's really just it's a consciousness thing with them, right? You might hear some people talking and go, God, I had a really good barbecued steak or some good marinated chicken or whatever. And they just, it's not that they eat right, because we've always done what we've always done. They certainly wouldn't eat their dog, although some countries they do eat dog. But, you know, we can't judge them any worse than what we do. So, but I don't think they're thinking about it like that. You know what I mean? They block it out of their mind where it comes from. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I wanted to show you something else. And this might be something that you might like for your birthday, because this is like, you can only get this. Is called. I'm totally changing the subject. See how I did that?
For it. I love it.
See how I did that? That was enough of that. This is. Can you see that? It's called forest quartz.
Wow, looks like it's got a tree in it.
Okay. Now this was just off of Vancouver Island, on one of the smaller islands. I don't know where. These guys were planting trees and they were digging, and they found a bunch of this, and they're still finding it. I can only get it at one place, which is Emerald Moon, where I'll go to buy your birthday present. But it's total, like, it is BC forest vibe. It's it's amazing.
Indigenous.
Feel it, right? Because it's the only place it comes from. Only place it comes from is here in BC. So perfect gift for the American that's crazy about everything Canada.
I know. Thank you so much. And I do love Canada. I drove my fucking family nuts talking about Canada since I was 6, and that crystal is beautiful. And BC
maybe you're one of those. Maybe you're, you know how like they're, you know, people say born the wrong gender. Maybe you're just born in the wrong country and you were supposed to be born in America. Maybe you should get some kind of, like, maybe that could be a thing. You go to like go to a psychiatrist or something and say, I know that, you know, I'm Canadian. I know that I am. I always have been. I've never associated with the US. I'm Canadian. And maybe you can become Canadian that way.
Well, I think I'll definitely do a solo talk on it sometime for sure, but I think that's a fucking great idea to do. Yeah, I love Canada.
I was just being silly.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'll even root for you guys over us in the Olympics. Not much, but you know, it's either US or Canada. Nobody else I would ever, you know, it's North America together, baby. But I love that crystal. That is so gorgeous. And
forest quartz, yes.
Did you just say they're starting to find? I mean, are they starting to find a bunch of these now, or what?
Yeah, they is it called I think they have a page, or no, what's that called? Instagram, I think. If you go on Instagram and look on forest crystals, I think that's what they're called. Or else you could look on Facebook under Emerald Moon. And they will show them there. Then you could always click the link to the actual people where they show more information on it. But yeah, it's just a couple guys that were out there planting trees, and then they came across this, and then they put in a claim or whatever, so that they're the only ones that are allowed to mine it, to bring it up. So yeah.
Wow, that was a smooth pull off by them.
I didn't know that it works that way, but yeah.
Well, in the United States, that if they tried that in the United States, it'd probably work for them. But before that happened, they'd have all kinds of inspectors up there wondering, oh, is there anything possible that's in this shit we could make some money off of for the government? No, I don't know. But that's kind of how I think it would work here. It sounds like those guys were onto something, man, and they got the rights to that. And God bless them for it. That's
beautiful. I'd like to go and find some crystals, take a little pick and shovel or whatever they do. And I think there's like quartz and stuff not too far from here, but I don't know. I'd have to kind of research it and talk to the crystal guys that I know out here. And because that would be so much fun to just go out there, go into the mountain or whatever, go for a hike and dig for crystals. Like, how awesome would that be?
Oh, I'm sure they're just ripe in the Pacific Northwest in general, whether you get down into Washington, Oregon, and the top third of California till you hit about Shasta, from Shasta through BC. I mean, I'm sure that there's different kinds of crystals because there's so much forest land and gorgeous forest land, and you know what I mean? Clean waters as far as the rest of the world goes. This region pretty much, that's why I'm always on that bandwagon of Oregon, Washington, and that British Columbia becoming its own country, and we can take down to Shasta with us too from California. But that's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. And they have that at the Emerald Moon Metaphysical Shop there in Vancouver.
In Maple Ridge, just outside of Vancouver. That's where I got my hair and pants. I discovered hair and pants recently. Why have I not, in my 47 years, why have I not discovered these before? Seriously, I was out the other day walking Ariel, and I had to check 3 times to make sure I was indeed wearing pants, because it feels like you're wearing nothing there. So
they look like it. I've never seen them either. Those are weird.
I love them. They're just so comfortable. I don't know exactly what they look like on me because I don't have a full-length mirror. So maybe they look funny, but I don't care. They're really comfortable.
I'll just tell everybody without being visual, they do look good. Raquel and I were talking before the show, and she had to go have a smoke. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, let me see those. They look good. Trust me. And they do look like they might feel like if you're wearing them, like, do I got fucking pants on?
Yeah.
I like lighter stuff like that. Jeans to me are really way too heavy on my hips. I prefer to just be in sweats, but those things once you got used to them, man, those things look like fucking complete futuristic type of, they look good. and don't worry, you look good in them too. I'm sure that when you took Ariel for a walk, people weren't like, oh, look at those ugly pants. They're probably like, wow. So I've never seen them. I've never seen them either. And they've got these things for sale there.
Yeah. I bought 2 pairs from there. I just love them.
Do they have men's pairs? Do you know by any chance?
I think they're kind of for men or women, but I don't think the pink would be too flattering for men or some men. I don't know. But yeah, I don't like the drop crotch.
I wouldn't give a fuck. I mean,
oh, okay. So you want me to buy you a pair of hair and pants?
Well, no, I mean, I would pick blue probably, but I'd wear pink around that. And if I had to go to the store to make a run, I'd wear them to the store. I mean, they'd say, hey, cool pants. I mean, nobody's gonna. I'm 6'3", 280. Nobody's
gonna beat you up for wearing hair.
Gonna fucking say some shit to me. So I would wear them anywhere. They're beautiful. God, they're beautiful. They are. They're just gorgeous. And when they just have a good energy to them. Like this show has had, I feel like tonight, we had a glitch at first. We were trying to get started, and then all of a sudden my computer just restarted itself, and I'm like, uh-oh.
My energy crashed your computer. Our energy combined crashed your computer.
That was the last words I heard you say, was because you couldn't hear me. I saw you, or I heard you go, what am I do? Energy shut you down or something like that. And then boom, it was gone. Yeah.
I manifested that. I shouldn't have said that.
Well, there might have been a reason why, though. It might have been that we needed to wait a couple more minutes for some reason. We'll never even know, because somebody caught the show and got some words of wisdom and things like that. But and I know that you've got a house guest, and I don't want to keep you from her too long. Although I will just say one more time, I would love for her to come on the show and discuss her.
I would love for her to too, but she just won't do it.
Well, yeah, when she's ready, that's the thing. You can't push somebody into it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I could actually probably.
Yeah.
I have muscles. I could like duct tape her or something, tie her up, and force her to talk if I had to. But no, I don't know. I love her.
One day, someday, she'll surprise us and wake up and say, "Hey, I'm ready to do it." Until then, you know, and then it'll be a good thing. But body talk is, but tell her not to wait too many years, because if she hasn't done this by 2020, I'm making that fan page for her. I promised, on YouTube, on Facebook. So no,
Okay, perfect.
I'm just kidding. But anyway, hun, did you have anything else that you know, as far as current situations are going on right now? I wanted to say congratulations again to Canada federally legalizing marijuana, federally legalizing it. And I want to just say to the people outside the US and Canada, what that means is it's going to be legal all over Canada. In the US, it's weird. See, there's states where it's legal in the US to buy, but it's still federally illegal. Raquel, our federal drug list still considers marijuana more dangerous than heroin.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy? And when they came up with this law, it was in the early 60s, late 50s, and the weed back then was so fucking terrible they couldn't even bud it yet. The only thing that would happen to you from smoking a bunch of pot is you might have to go to the hospital with a migraine, like in Reefer Madness, you know? I mean, the shit was so weak back then that, yeah, you might get a migraine. But yeah, and they still...
It's just because it could ruin, you know, it could ruin big industries, big pharma,
alcohol, tobacco,
companies, all that stuff, right? So that's why, yeah. But it's yeah, it's good that it's coming to the forefront more now, and that that Canada made that move, and yeah, it's a good thing.
Hopefully, we'll follow suit, hon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. I think it's great. It should be done by the end of this summer. It's just got to go through one more little
October. Yeah, October. So I don't have 3 plants growing in my garden currently.
No, not yet. No,
not yet, but next year I will, because I think it's 3.
In a future now moment, you will.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. My dad's currently growing 3 here. I think it's 4 legally here, some 6, but yeah, you got to love a plant. The thing about growing weed, I just want to say, it isn't like growing any other kind of a plant. You really have to love it like a kid. And take care of it and move it around if you have to, or have the right conditions to grow it in. And also, you got to know when to get rid of the male part, or you're going to fuck up your pot and have seeds in it. Because if you kill that, you got to get rid of the male first. Get rid of that male. That way, instead of pollinating with seeds, that bud becomes just pure THC. But anyway, you'll figure that out. You're going to grow. You got good karma, Raquel. You're going to go grow some good shit once it's legal there. Yeah, you got good karma.
I love all my plants. I treat them all like not just my children, but my friends, because they are. So
aren't they a beautiful plant, though? I mean, every plant's beautiful, but isn't weed a beautiful plant?
Yes.
I mean, just as a gorgeous look to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Pretty. Yes, it's pretty. It's a pretty plant.
It's pretty. Like I like Tyler is pretty. Remember, you mentioned that before one of our shows. Wasn't that a great show? I just wanted to say, wasn't that a really...
I don't really remember much, but I remember Jevin just happened to show up with the kind of bud that Tyler was smoking. Remember? Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I think if we would have been on, we would have got kicked off the air if we were on like an AM or FM radio, because I think Tyler Beatabach might have broke the record for the most pot smoked on any podcast or a TV show in one episode fucking ever. And the dude, keep in mind, this dude never drank beer. He probably put away 340 ounces of beer and at close to a half ounce of different kinds of buds he was showing us, because he was a delivery driver down there. Yes. And this kid was a complete intellectual, but not on that night.
No.
And I remember too telling you before we did the show, I said, okay, now I want you to start, like, when we have people on, because you got good questions, start asking them questions. And so you started right in with Tyler, And then it just, Tyler's responses were like, were at first coherent vaguely, and then it just got to the point where we just started talking about weed, and he was fucked up, and I almost deleted the show, but I'm glad I kept it because it is comical, and I wonder how he's doing now. But yeah, that was that was quite the show. But anyway, yeah, that was maybe someday we'll have to, when it's legal in Canada, we'll have to try to break Tyler's record. Although I'm so old now, you know, Raquel, I just like a hit or two. I mean, I'm not like these kids that want to fucking smoke the whole fucking bag. I did when I was in my early 20s, and I know, yes, it's stronger now. I don't give a fuck. I still at 15 would have wanted to smoke a whole fucking eighth of it, okay? I mean, even but today's weed. But when I got in my early 20s, it's just like a hit or two is fine. I don't know.
I don't even smoke it. I don't smoke it because it screws me up too much. I'm like I'm naturally high all the time, so it just like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, if you weren't so lovely, it'd make a person want to kick you in the butt. I know, because you got all this shit naturally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go ingest any substances. But I'll let you get back to Janice, who I know is hiding way away from the radio signal.
Yes.
Yes. All right, hon. But was there anything going on your timeline? Basically, I think it's just kind of you're doing your thing. You're letting people know what's going on, and you know, if people want to follow Raquel Toombs, go to her timeline. She's an admin in plenty of groups. She's all over Facebook. She's getting sick of me talking about her and wanting to get the fuck off of here. So we're gonna get, and I need to too, because I gotta take my dog for a walk, or he's gonna telepathically beat my ass all night long if I don't. Anyway, but what I just wanted to say in closing is thanks, Raquel, for being on. This is like our 19th Pleiadian late night talk show together. It's been wonderful, and I would just like to remind everybody to check us out on Facebook. We have a page, Pleiadian Express Productions, Pleiadian Light Grid Project page. What's Your Opinion show? Check out also Opinion But Facts on YouTube. Raquel, you can find anywhere and everywhere, so it really don't matter. If you Googled Raquel Toombs, you'd find her on YouTube a million places, Google a million places. But so that being said, I think that we're going to end this with a big cosmic dating game kiss from North America, from British Columbia and Oregon, from the west coast of North America. We're out. Mwah.